Speech off.
Well, hi everybody, it's Beverly at Bama Blind, and if it looks dark in this room, that's because it is. I'm I'm actually recording sitting in my den, trying to keep as quiet as possible so that I don't wake up Gretchen and I don't wake up Jerry. But it's one of those nights where I can't sleep, and it could be called insomnia. It could be called just a restless night, but I just thought I may as well get up and kind of try to share with you all what I think is a phenomenon, and not a very good one with the blind community particularly. But, you know, it it's not exclusively with the blind community, but a lot of us suffer from insomnia. And there is a condition that is associated with complete blindness, with total blindness, which has to do with the lack of any light hitting the retina and getting into the brain and upsetting that 24/7 I don't know what you call it. And I don't think very well at 3 in the morning. So just bear with me. I I have suffered from insomnia probably since the age of 22 or so, maybe earlier than that. And it got really bad when I was physically and emotionally exhausted. When I had little kids and I was a single parent, and I had to get up and go to work every morning. And so in my mind, all these things raced of what do I have to do in the morning? What did I forget to do tonight that's going to make the morning more difficult? And when you have a visual impairment, you have to kind of think of all those things and be a little bit more organized, because your eyes just don't serve you to, okay, there's my first grader's backpack. Okay, there's the signed parental form that's supposed to go in the backpack. It's sitting on the countertop. All those things you can't stand in one place and scan and see all those things. So that really bugged me when I was a young mother. Then I got to the age where I was really free to do whatever I needed to do. My kids were in college, and I could just get up when I wanted to and go to bed when I wanted to. And that was really not a good idea. That idea kind of turned into, okay, I was going to bed at 11, and my husband Jerry was going to bed at 2, and then I was waking up at 6, and he was waking up at 9. And, we sat down and we said, this isn't working either, because we don't ever see each other. Your sleeping hours are different than mine. And I'm usually a morning person. I've always been a morning person. And when I had a full-time job, it was like I have to do everything that's very mental and very focused before 2 p.m. And then after 2 p.m., I would just tell my secretary, give me anything that's mindless to do. And, in a job, you're not really supposed to be doing mindless things. But I could tell my brain wasn't functioning after 2 p.m. Well, since the COVID virus hit and our world has changed so much, I'm not necessarily affected by the overt stress because I don't have a change in jobs. I don't have a change in income. I don't have a change in my family situation. So I'm so blessed with that. But I think it might be worrying about global things, worrying about the world, and worrying about how other people are being affected and how I can help them. And I don't seem to be very effective in helping them because there's really nothing that I feel that's very constructive that I can do. And I'm sitting here looking at this. The camera is completely blacked out. I see nothing. I have put on a backlit light that's in my back foyer, so it might illuminate a little bit of this messy hair. I just got out of the bed because I couldn't sleep, so I've been tossing and turning. I didn't upload a video Tuesday. There was a reason for that. I'm having difficulties with my router, with my emails, with my passwords, anything that can go wrong with my iPhone and connectivity has gone wrong in the last month. I haven't been able to comment on YouTube channels. I haven't viewed too many YouTube channels, but I've viewed so many of your videos, and I have read so many comments. I have been able to respond through my YT Studio, which is good. I can respond through YT Studio, but I can't respond through YouTube, and my emails do not respond to my commands on my iPhone. I can read some emails, but then when I go to comment or reply on emails, they won't send. They'll send to my outbox. It's a huge mess. So I'm kind of doing the best I can do, and I worry about that because I don't want to seem that I have dropped out of my YouTube family, because that's really what you are. I just enjoy connecting with all of you so much. So when I wake up at 1:30 in the morning, like today, and I can't get back to sleep, and I think, okay, what can I do? You know, is there anything constructive I can do? And yeah, I could go do a load of laundry, but it's gonna wake up my husband. You know, Gretchen will go bonkers. She'll run to the back door thinking somebody has driven into the driveway. So I try not to do anything noisy. Then I lay and try to be still. Maybe if you have insomnia, you can understand this. If you don't have insomnia, you're blessed. But if you I have learned to get up maybe and drink a warm, just a very lightly warmed mug of milk, and it needs to be like 2% milk, maybe with even some half and half and vanilla in it. That's really good. Sometimes that helps. Because there is something in warm milk. There's a protein that releases that might help put a brain back to sleep. And I go through periods where my brain just races. If I'm really busy, my brain just races at night, and I can't stop the thoughts because I'm thinking ahead. And you know, that's your frontal lobe. The other times I just kind of lay there completely relaxed, completely unworried, completely unstressed. My body's relaxed and I can't sleep. I hesitate to take medication. I know there is medication, and if I could get a really good sleep doctor that really knew, you know, what what my specific issues were, then I might consider that. But I do all the right things. I put on relaxing music. I have salt rocks in my room. I have a nice noise diffuser. I sleep with a temperature really cool and blankets, which I love. Um, Underneath this caftan, this is just a caftan that I from Japan that I pull off the hook every morning because it's really loose and very silky and satiny. But underneath this, I have my nice, fuzzy, cozy pajamas that have my little puppy dogs on them. And I have my nice, cozy slippers that are like sleeping socks that I can put on or take off. So I do all the right things. And sometimes it just doesn't work. So one time I did some research. If you know me, and you probably do if you're watching this ridiculous nighttime video, but I did some research on sleep disorders, and I learned something very, very interesting, that up until probably the mid 19th century, the mid like 1850 or so, humankind had something called the first sleep and the second sleep. And you can read about it in history, and sleep specialists have actually studied it in the last several years. And they have found that before the light bulb was invented, people basically went to sleep when the sun went down. They might have stayed up for 30 minutes with a candlelight or, a gas lamp, but they basically went to sleep early, and they slept for maybe 5 hours. Excuse me, that's just my mid-morning, midnight congestion, allergies. So I learned that they would wake up like at 12 or 1 naturally. Well, of course, they can't do anything at 12 or 1. It's pitch dark. So the human body stayed awake for just about an hour and a half or 2 hours. And that was like your mid-evening awake time. And it was natural. It was natural up until the light bulb was invented. And people would find some time maybe in that 2 hours of each night to maybe write a letter to a loved one or do some business calculations if they had a desk and a desk lamp. Or many, many times they would go out onto their front porch and sit if the air was the right temperature, if it was spring or summer or fall, not too cold, not too hot. And they would go out in their night clothes with their nightcaps, and they would sit on their porches and have time to visit with neighbors who eventually would come out to their porches, because everybody would have this mid-evening break from sleep. And then eventually, after about an hour and a half, the body naturally wrestled back into the second sleep. And that second sleep lasted naturally from about 2 a.m. till the sun came up. Now, if the sun came up at 4, then the person would get up at 4. If the sun came up at 6, depending on the time of the year, the person would have a split night. So they would go to bed at sundown. They would sleep about 5 hours, wake up naturally, find something to do for that hour and a half because they knew it was coming. From what I understand in reading the history, they never tried to do anything physically exerting. I mean, it wouldn't like be a chore. They might put an extra log on the fire and sit by the fire and maybe reminisce about the day's events. It truly was a time for community visiting because people could wander across the road to the neighbor's house if the neighbor was on the porch and they saw them with a lantern or a candlelight and would get in maybe a few minutes visit, which they really weren't in the luxury of doing because we were such a working, surviving human society. And that goes way, way back until the invention of the light bulb. And when the light bulb came about, people started staying awake later and later, and they found they could actually like read their newspapers, read their magazines, read their books, get in on so many other tasks, even sewing, mending could be done with this new light bulb. So there would be a lot of sedentary activities that would be postponed till after sundown when the human race was really accustomed to getting to sleep early, waking up in the middle of the night, having a little break, and then going back to sleep until sunup. I honestly don't think that I've reverted back to that, but sometimes I wonder about it. And I wonder with you, how many of you have insomnia? I would be interested if you watch this video and you have insomnia, if you have a sleep disorder, if you can't sleep, I would love to hear your experiences. Do you get up in the middle of the night and just do maybe a chore and then sleep during the day? Are you able to sleep during the day? Or do you just wait it out and, stare up at the ceiling or the make-believe stars? Do you toss and turn? Do you read a book to fall back to sleep? Do you listen to music? Do you call or connect with a friend? Oh, I hear Gretchen. Gretchen, come. Come, girl, come. Come. Hello, sweet girl. Hello. This is Gretchen. Oh, you sweet girl. Are you wondering what's going on in here? Yes. Oh, you are. Can you love? Oh, love. Oh, now she's giving me a hug. She buries her head in my lap. Oh, love, love, love. Maybe the camera can get a picture of Gretchen. Maybe so. So anyway, guys, I didn't mean to wake you up if I did. I doubt if I'm going to be able to even upload this video. Once again, my router is down. My emails don't work. Gretchen works. She and I have to be, she doesn't know it yet, but at 7:30 in the morning, this morning, I will be down at my local coffee shop meeting a friend, and it's a new coffee shop, so we decided to meet at 7:30, and then I have an appointment right across the street at 8 o'clock. So it won't be a long visit, but I just want to see if I can get into the new coffee shop. It's going to be cold, probably 30 degrees. So I have that, that's a fun thing for me. So that's not a thing that would keep me awake. That's just a fun morning activity that's going to be new and challenging because it's a new place that I haven't been into. And being blind and being guided by my guide dog, it's going to be fun getting there and finding it and just navigating the store itself. So I hope this hasn't been too long and drawn out. I hope that I've connected with some of you. I really want to hear from you. If you have any kind of sleep disorder, and if you're visually impaired, I would like to know if you have a sleep disorder as the same as people that are completely blind. When I went to get Gretchen at the Seeing Eye, and we were all blind. I mean, we're all blind. We had different levels of light perception and just, visual field perception. I'm not saying we were all completely blind, but I guarantee you that 80% of the people that I was with at the Seeing Eye had a sleep disorder, and we talked about it. And I think that worried all of us coming to the Seeing Eye, coming away to a place that you haven't been before. But they have a nurse on staff, and a lot of people discussed with their physicians before they ever came that they had a sleep disorder. And some didn't, they just ignored it. And many of my classmates would just suffer through insomnia all night long and try to work on their computers and just do things and be completely worn out with the rigorous schedule that we had each and every day starting like at 5 in the morning. So it was a rigorous schedule, and it really was difficult if you have insomnia or non-24. So I just really want to connect. See if there are any of you that have this. I want to know what you do about it, what you don't do about it, if you've consulted with anybody, if you just live with it and put up with it. What are your struggles with it, and what are your successes with it? Because if we can share some of these things, then maybe me getting up in the middle of the night and with this stringy, now shoulder-length hair that, and no makeup at all, completely raw, no makeup, moisturizer that I sleep with, and just a little backlit light there that I hope has put at least a shadow on a silhouette. Hopefully it hasn't done more than that. But if it has, that's okay. I don't care if you see my splotches or my wrinkles around my eyes, and there's smile wrinkles. Just know that you're not alone. And the one good thing about social media is so many times, if you really are alone, physically alone, you can get on social media and find somebody somewhere in the world, all over this great big world, that is more than willing to chat and keep you company if you're having a really hard time being by yourself. So I hope you might get some sleep tonight, or each and every night, and I really wish you a very safe and healthy and happy upcoming week, and maybe a good night's sleep sooner or later. Talk to you soon, everyone. Good night.